In this video, we'll look at managing emotions when you're under extreme pressure. Hey, it's Mark Waite from Mark My Words, where we help people fast track a comeback after a marriage or business collapse. If you're new here, make sure you hit the subscribe button. And all the content which I'll mention in this video, you can download from the links in the description panel below. Going through a marriage or business collapse is, without doubt, a stressful time. Your emotions, some that you didn't even know you had, will come to the surface. For me, going through a marriage and business collapse within literally weeks of each other, certainly I discovered that I had emotions that I didn't know I had either. So how do you manage your emotions through that period? What are some of the keys that you can adopt to ensure that the decisions that you make through this tough time are decisions that won't worsen the situation? They'll be decisions that actually help you rebuild and fast track a comeback in your life. So the first one is, make sure that you have someone who you can talk to. It is very important that, particularly for you guys, that you don't become a lone ranger. It's so easy to allow pride to rule our decision-making process, and that is making big decisions about what, in my case, who to pay first, what to pay first, who to talk to first. Just the chaos of the amount of decisions that had to be made every day to manage the fallout of my setback. Have someone you can talk to, that you can bounce some ideas off. How do you find this person? Who are they? Well, they're someone who understands you. They could be a family member or a friend, but they may even be a professional counsellor. What I look for is someone who understands the gravity somewhat of your situation, and who can actually understand the responsibilities you have in the short, medium and long term to ensure the decisions that are made around those responsibilities are the correct ones for you. So to have someone who you're able to talk to and to get counsel from is really important. The second thing is, make sure that you are anchored in your thoughts. You know, in Stephen Covey's book, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, he talks about being able to make a decision in between a stimulus, in other words, something that's happened to you, and a response. And sometimes it's so easy to, when you have something happen to you, just to make an automatic response. You might just fly off the handle or say something that you regret later on. But when something happens, you might get a phone call or a message or an invoice in the mail that you weren't expecting. Rather than react to that situation, or what he calls the stimulus, there is a period of time between the stimulus and the response, and that's a decision. So rather than emotionally flying off the handle, make sure you actually stop, decide, and the decision you're making is, are you going to allow this stimulus, whether it be a phone call, text message, or maybe an invoice, allow that stimulus to affect your emotions. So just that simple step of making a decision between the stimulus and the response. Stimulus, decision, response, in that order. Make sure the decision's in there, because if it just goes from stimulus to response, more often than not the response is the wrong one, and as a result the problem or the challenge becomes greater. The third key to handling your emotions when you are under extreme pressure is make sure you're getting enough sleep. Now this might sound quite simple and oversimplified, and the question always is, how do I sleep well when I'm under severe emotional stress? So there are some techniques around this, and it's number one, first of all, understanding that your health, your physical health and emotional health is critical through this tough time. You need to make sure that you're giving yourself every chance to make the decisions that you need to make, and make those decisions with as much wisdom as possible. So sleep is a huge, most underrated tool in your tool bag to help you navigate through those decisions very effectively. So make sure that you set and are disciplined around a fixed time to go to bed. You know, I believe that when you are going through emotional and financial stress, that sleep can be the first thing that suffers. When sleep suffers, stress is amplified. So how much sleep do you need? You know, I would say for me, I needed at least 8 hours. And for me, I had to be really intentional around being in bed at a certain time, to switch my mobile phone off, to ensure that I wasn't on a screen, on social media or a computer screen before going to bed. I would allow at least 1 hour to elapse where I just wound down, relaxed. You know, I might have done some stretching, some meditating, or some mobility, just to unwind from the day. So that way when you do go to bed, your brain has somewhat started to relax and you can sleep much better. Sleep is such a powerful tool for you to navigate through what you're looking to navigate through. So I have 10 bold steps that I adopted and applied to my own life that helped me fast track back to a recovery and make a comeback. And you know, after my marriage and business collapse, there was a period of time there where I wondered if I could make it back. You may be asking yourself the same questions as well. So make sure that you understand that there is support. And if you download in the description panel below, you'll see a link to my website, themarkwait.com. That's a landing page for a free access to my 10 bold steps. These are 10 steps that I took to help me fast track my comeback. They weren't the only steps I took, but they were the 10 that really helped me recover from the setback of my marriage and business collapse, and ensure that I came out the other end healthy, mentally, physically and financially, in all areas of life. So click on that website, download the 10 bold steps. It'll ask you for your email address and your name. Just enter that in and we'll be able to email you out a copy as well. Until then, stay strong and we'll see you on the next video.